You are now watching Zaclasage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Zaclasage here. Word up! Today we're going to be covering over Malamar VMAX. Now, it's one of those things where Malamar VMAX has been popping up on the scene, seeing a lot of success at the Play Limitless tournaments, and I mean, it's one of those decks that I haven't covered on the channel yet, so in efforts to cover everything, I think this might be one of the best dark type decks that we have in our format. Really gaining a lot of strength off of Galarian Moltres V and Weavile-GX, moving all those energies around. It seems like a really good strategy. So if you are interested in this deck, feel free to tune in. The list is in the description, so if you want to copy and paste that right into PTCGO, you can totally do that while you're watching this video. While you're there, check out some of the Zaclasage merch, some of my sponsors links. Maybe you want a Zaclasage playmat from your playmats. All that really does help me out as a content creator. Give this video a like. You can leave a comment below. Both those really help boost the algorithm. What are we going to comment on here? Is Malamar VMAX the best dark type deck? That's the discussion for the video. Let me know either before or after. I'll get back to everyone's comments as soon as possible. And subscribe to this channel, peeps. We just passed 4,800 subs. It'd be amazing if we could get to 5,000 by the end of this month. We are basically coming up on a year. August 1st would basically be a year with this channel. Give or take. I know I've taken a little break here or there, so let's just go with August 1st. That'd be 5,000 subscribers in a year, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you for all the support, everyone. That being said, let's jump into the deck and see exactly what's going on with this deck. So, if you look at this deck, it doesn't look anything special to start off. It's just more or less a VMAX deck. You got some ways to move some energies around, and you have ways to accelerate energies. Let's dive into it and see why Malamar VMAX is good. So upon first glance, this card has never seen success before this. Beyond fringe cases or anything, it was like 3 energies, 180 damage. Who cares about 180 damage? Nothing was weak to dark back then. Now that 180 can be transformed into 360 due to weakness, so your opponent it doesn't really matter about revealing your opponent's hand, but you can rip a card out of their hands and then put it at the bottom of their deck. So there's a little bit of disruption here, which is nice. We could play off of that. In order to accelerate energies, we have Galarian Moltres V, so we could Dire Flame Wings, power that up. We could also just attack with Galarian Moltres V. Anything that's dark is really good against Calyrex. Of course, this deck is not weak to fighting. That's probably the biggest kicker for Malamar VMAX. If you look at other dark-type Pokemon that have seen fringe success, they end up being weak to fighting, which means that they get scared off by URSHIFU. This deck could actually do some decent damage to URSHIFU. So keep that in mind when you're playing this deck. You are not weak to fighting. Either Pokemon are weak to fighting or they're weak to grass type. It's one of those things where Malamar is just, it's weak to grass, which is not really a popular type. Weavile-GX is going to move all those energies around. So the side strategy is that we have a couple Pokemon like the Umbreon Darkrai-GX. You could go for a huge Dark Moon GX, or you could turn yourself Psychic type if you really need to, if that ever becomes relevant for you. Maybe against an URSHIFU deck. And then you got red and blue, where you could search your deck for a GX, basically Weavile-GX, and if you discard 2 other cards, you could search your deck for 2 basic energy cards, and then move those around. So you have some big attacks, like the Umbreon Darkrai-GX's Dark Moon, that costs 6 energies, dark type, and then you can knock out your opponent's active, they can't use any trainer cards, really take a huge swing lead. To play around with the Max Jammer, we also added in a couple reset stamps, handfuls of Marnie, so you could rip your opponent's hand low, take that one good card away, and tell your opponent to just like vibe out. Since we have Weavile-GX that also moves things around, we have access to Cheryl, and Cheryl allows us to heal all damage from our evolution Pokemon, that being the Malamar VMAX and the Weavile-GX. So we have ways to stay in play, we have ways to hit for weakness, we have ways to basically, we're weak to an unpopular type, and we have ways to disrupt our opponent. So I mean, there's a lot of cool things going on with this deck. We'll play it out, see exactly what's going on. This deck is very similar to a Dark Toolbox style deck that would include like a Mega Sableye and Tyranitar deck, stuff like that. Like there's techs like that, or other decks like that that exist in this metagame. So we're gonna cover the Malamar VMAX first and see exactly, because this one has been more successful overall. So we're waiting for our opponent here to call the coin flip. We want to go first with this deck so we can get out our Pokemon. We did win the coin flip. We are going to go first. So we want to get things like Sneasel and Malamar V down whenever possible. Nothing crazy going on with this hand. We're going to start with Kricketune. because at least with Exciting Stage, we could draw extra cards while we're in the active spot. Let's see exactly how this is going to work. We might pitch this hand depending on what we have with Tag Call left in this deck. And it looks like we might be playing against some kind of Single Strike URSHIFU or Tornadus VMAX deck. So let's go ahead, before we play anything down, go Tag Call, look through this deck. You can see we have the other Weavile, so I'm okay with discarding things. I'm going to go ahead and grab a red and blue, and I think that's all I really want to get, just in case. Actually, I have Eldegoss in my hand, so I don't want to grab anything. Based off of them likely just playing fighting type Pokemon, I don't see a world where I'm ever going to be using Umbreon Darkrai-GX, but you all know what, I'm going to keep it in the deck just in case it pops up. We might be able to get like a late game knockout. Searching through the deck, seeing what we can potentially grab. Nothing crazy going on here. There are things like the Galarian Moltres that we just want to get down. So let's go ahead and go Air Balloon here, put Sneasel down, and let's pitch this hand away. We're really looking for a Malamar V if we could ever find one. And we do have access to a Malamar V, so that's going to be really cool for us. Let's go Pokemon Communication. Let's go ahead and put this away. And we're going to go grab a Malamar V. So we can start getting that set up for next turn. Now our hand's a little bit dead, and normally I would have kept that for like a Crobat or something, but in this case we do have access to Kricketune. I'm going to waste the reset stamp too, so we can just draw more cards with Exciting Stage and just get set up a little bit better that way. So let's go Exciting Stage. Maybe we'll get an Energy or Galarian Moltres. Energy is cool here, and we could always use Exciting Stage next turn, so this card's really good to just draw throughout the game. So let's see what our opponent's playing. I think it's got to be a Single Strike deck. I mean, of course, the Houndoom powers up Single Strike energies to your Single Strike Pokemon. So it's either like a Tornadus VMAX deck, or it's got to be a Single Strike URSHIFU VMAX deck. Something like that. With the Fighting Energy being discarded, I think it's going to be the Single Strike deck. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to deal with because we don't have a lot of OHKO potential when it comes to these decks. Although we are not necessarily super worried because we don't have to worry about weakness here. You can see we are weak to Grass. Our opponent is playing a Marty against us. So maybe we could isolate some of their things and really stop what's going on in their hands. We do have a Dark Energy. We do have other things. Oh, they have a Tyranitar. Maybe it's like a Single Strike box. Let's go Dark Energy goes here. Let's go Marty. And we're really looking for a Galarian Moltres, should I say. Galarian Moltres would not be bad. We can move an extra energy. I'm going to go Quick Ball away a Cynthia Caitlyn. I have to go for the Galarian Moltres, unfortunately. And I'm going to pitch away the Crobat as well. Just grabbing nothing. Let's go ahead and use this so we don't forget our ability. So we're basically looking for a Weavile-GX and a Malamar VMAX. If we can get those off 3 cards off the Exciting Stage, that'd be amazing. We did get 1, so we're a little bit short from what we want in this situation, but we're going to pass. So we can't attack with Max Jammer this turn. It would have been awesome to just knock out the Houndour, but we're going to go ahead here and pass. So our goal here in this matchup is we got to avoid the Single Strike Scroll of Scorn. That might be a little bit difficult for us to deal with in some cases. In a lot of other ways, we need to find ways to potentially OHKO this Pokemon. I might have been wrong with the Umbreon and Darkrai-GX. That might have been something that I need to just like take care of. The fact that we also have access to the Marshadow now to take away their Tower of Darkness is going to be amazing for us. And of course, we'll just get a refreshed hand. I don't really see any issues with that. We do have access to red and blue as well. So depending on how well we top deck, we're pretty good to just get out the Weavile, 2 energies there. And we might just be able to get a knockout. If we could do a little bit more damage, that'd be awesome. Right now they're at like 200 HP left after the 20 damage on them. So I'd really like to knock them out if possible before they evolve into a VMAX, that is. One other thing to notice, this deck uses a lot of bench space. You can see that we have the Darkrai-GX, we have a Kricketune V, we have a Galarian Moltres V, so we got to be careful when it comes to these things. Like, I want to put down an Umbreon Darkrai depending on what we top deck, and just trying to get an energy that way. So let's see It might be a little bit awkward because we can't play Darkrai-GX and all the other cards that we want. Unless, of course, our opponent goes for a knockout on the Impact Blow. The Impact Blow would actually be the best case scenario for us. If we want to get out of the active, I think our best case scenario is to send up Darkrai-GX. So now we can actually play down everything that we're looking for. So let's play this out very carefully. I'm going to go for Tag Call first, grabbing this and this. We could discard some cards from our hand, so that's going to be our supporter card that we're going to go for. Search your deck for a GX, discard, yep. This is really cool. Let's go ahead, red and blue, discard Cheryl. I think that seems cool. Yeah, we're going to go like that. And we're going to go for Weavile-GX. And now we can power up Weavile-GX with a couple Dark Energies. Now we need to have an attack that does 200 damage, and we need to get the knockout. Unfortunately, that means that it's going to come at the cost of us using Umbreon and Darkrai-GX. So we'll have to get that powered up. Let's go ahead and resetting hull this. We're looking for an air balloon and an energy and maybe a reset stamp. That'd be the best case scenario. So we will be able to get out with the energy because we can get it back for Dire Flame Wings. And then they can't play any trainer cards from their hands. So we need to just hope that they just don't have it. Again, this would have been a huge play otherwise, but we'll see how it goes. Let's go retreat here, send this up. We're going to get the energy back, Dire Flame Wings. So this is one of the strategies, even if we aren't able to win this game, it is like the best play that we possibly can make. Let's go like that, move the energy there, grab another energy, move it there, grab another energy, you know, the same old thing over and over again. PTCGO does not necessarily make it easy on us, but we are able to get attacks like this relatively with ease. So let's go like that. So we're done moving the energies, and now we can go for Dark Moon GX. So we're going to go ahead and knock out our opponent's active Pokemon. And they can't play trainer cards down from their hands. So we need to hope that they're not able to do a lot of damage. We can only use that attack once per game because it is a GX attack. Now we need to try to find ways that we're going to be isolating their Pokemon. Like, their Pokemon have a lot of HP. We don't do a lot of damage. We can do 190 damage at max now. We also got to watch out because this Pokemon is weak to fighting. So no single strike energies in their deck. They can't play their Urn of Vitality to get them back. It'd be really nice if we could just start knocking out some of their other Pokemon. So they might just send up the they're just sending up the T-Tar. That's sick. So I'd really like to just knock out the Crobat at this point, putting us down to 2 prize cards remaining. And I think that would put us up in a really good spot. So I'm going to go ahead here and retreat. This is where the deck can get really fun because we can move our energies, get them back with Dire Flame Wings, and you just want to put them on Pokemon that you know are going to survive. So let's go Shadow Connection. We'll move this here. This here. I don't want to keep them on the Umbreon Darkrai. The reason why I don't want to keep them on the Umbreon Darkrai is because I think they're going to knock us out. So I'm actually just going to move them over to the Galarian Moltres. I'm going to attach for my turn. And then I'm going to go bring up this. So that seems pretty cool. If you ask me, let's put ourselves down to 2 prize cards remaining. There's nothing else that I really want to be doing with my turn. And then we're going to go Max Jammer. So let's see what's in our opponent's hand. I think they have 9 cards in their hands. So far there's like nothing that we really care about. They have energies, they have double research. So when there's things like, of course, we're not going to put a research at the bottom of their deck. But maybe the Pokemon communication would be pretty cool. I don't want to put something like the single strike energy at the bottom of their deck because that could be really good for them too. Let's just go Pokemon communication because that can get out their single strike VMAX. So we're going to go Pokemon communication goes here. Goodbye, Pokemon communication. And I mean, sometimes your hits are going to be better than others. Like if your opponent has like a 3-card hand, that could certainly be huge. our big play now is just like getting out a Mewtwo and Mew-GX. I guess I never thought of it because when we went through the tag call, it wasn't our prize cards. This Pokemon is weak to us. So if we do have an attack that can go through it, something like a Black Lance can do 300 damage to them. With Mewtwo and Mew-GX, it can certainly be strong. We could also copy other things like Claw Slash or any other attacks that are doing good. As long as they're not able to knock us out, I think we're pretty much vibing right now. Even if they are able to knock us out, we might be in a pretty okay spot. So we're just gonna see how that goes, but at least we have Air Balloon, we have access, so they've attached a few energies here. We could definitely just knock them out with Black Lance. Of course, we would have rather used like the Dark Moon GX on this type of Pokemon, but it is what it is. We had to take care of our opponent's active. One thing that, oh, they just don't have it. Wow. So we are boss's orders away. They typically don't play too many things. Like they might play Marnie. So Cynthia Caitlin's already down. Let's go ahead and go Dire Flame Wings. Let's start powering up our other Pokemon that we could power up. I think that sounds like a really good idea. Now this only takes, remember that it's only GX and EX that it hits on the bench. Those are no cards that our opponent has at all. So it might actually be better for us here to thin out our deck a little bit. And just play Marnie. As much as we have things like the Mewtwo and Mew and the boss's orders in hands, we could very well just take away what they have in their hand and really throw our opponent off guard. So I'm going to go ahead and quick ball things away like this. I know we don't need another one. Let's grab a Sneasel. And I'm going to go Marnie. So at least it will put us in a second rotation if our opponent's able to play a Marnie on us. So I mean, I'm still feeling pretty okay about that. There's nothing that I want to move around too much. I just want to move one here. I'm probably going to move another one there anyways. Just because if anything gets knocked out, the Galarian Moltres can always do some work. And let's go ahead here and go Max Jammer. So Marnie plus Max Jammer can certainly be strong. Let's see what they have in their hands. So you can see things like the Urn of Vitality. The Urn of Vitality will actually just cause them to get the energies back. You might be like, Zach, you should put that away instantly so your opponent does not get the attack off on you. I'm actually going to keep it there so my opponent's forced into it. So I'm going to put the research down at the bottom of their deck, so they're very controlled for what they have in their hands. They're probably going to be like, yo, wait, Zach, can you not, will they not be able to, like, attack you or anything like that? I mean, I guess in this case, they could always just attach an energy from their hands and then get the one back and get the knockout by removing all of their energies. But that's really where, like, I'm not overly worried with what we have going on. They can't power up a whole bunch of things. So there's the 20. So I guess when I'm knocking out the Houndoom, I was actually thinking that they could get 2 energies attached. So there might have been a slight misplay there. Sorry, peeps, to disappoint you. But they're also losing all of their energies in the process as well. So, I mean, that's certainly something that I'm cool with. Let's go ahead here and put up the Weavile-GX. Now, our opponent can only get so many energies in a single turn. So let's see what we can do here. Now, we do have access to Quick Ball. Let's Quick Ball away one of these researches because that sounds fine. Now, Mewtwo and Mew-GX can only copy things out of our discard pile. When it comes to things that GX Pokemon, we have a Weavile-GX. We have access to anything. Is there anything that Malamar can do? We could use Dragoff. Dragoff could certainly be pretty cool. Mewtwo Mew-GX seems like the best card that we probably just want to be putting down. I don't see any reason why not to put that down. We also just don't want to put a lot of damage on their Pokemon right now, because then they could go Single Strike, Scroll of Scorn, and that would be a little bit difficult for us to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and go Mewtwo and Mew-GX. We're just going to put this down and get that all powered up. We don't need other cards in our deck, so let's go ahead and attach an energy here. I'm going to go Research. And we have some cards left in our deck. Now, I want to be able to do a decent bit of damage to our opponent's Pokemon. So let's go ahead here and This Pokemon is weak to fighting. We want to have Pokemon that can survive the attack. Is there any small attack that I can use? Because 260 would still get a knockout. Like, they would still knock me out because we're doing 260. 190 would have them to get a boss. So we need to get some kind of attack off because the boss that we have is under the deck. And I mean, I'm totally like, why did we ever put the boss at the bottom of the deck? Because it's just difficult for us to deal with. We can always get the energy back from Dire Flame Wings. Like, we hit for 300 damage. So that's what I'm trying to just like wait on. Is let's just get this set up and get that ready. So let's go ahead and move the energies. Let's go Shadow Connection. We're gonna move an energy to here because I just don't want them to be able to attach an energy and like just go for it. I also don't want to attack them with an Umbreon Darkrai. I don't want to leave up anything active. They can attach 2 energies, so I don't think there's too much that they could be dealing with. Now let's go with the Pokemon that could probably deal with the attack the most, and that's going to be Galarian Moltres V. Now, just to double check before we go into anything else, like if our opponent's played multiple boss, we don't necessarily need to worry about too much. Let's just go ahead here and pass our turn. As soon as our opponent goes for a single strike roar attaching an energy there, we just win the game. Hopefully they aren't able to go like boss's orders, build up a bunch of energies, or even attack with a single strike Scroll of Scorn. But I think as long as they go for the Houndoom, we're in a good spot. They've also Marnied us, which means that we're guaranteed to draw into the boss to win the game the next turn. So now that they're not using boss's orders, they actually can't win the game. So I know this game's a little bit close, based off of everything that we've gone through. And I mean, maybe there's a few areas where I could have played a little bit better. But it did show the strategy of this deck quite well. It might take a little bit of finessing because you don't have a built-in draw engine. If you've been playing Shadow Rider, you definitely can't just get those energies back. But you can see we can get a lot of energies in play. One thing I might want to do is include something that Mewtwo and Mew-GX can attack with for a little bit more. So now we're just going to go ahead here and Dire Flame Wings. We're going to grab one of our energies back. We're going to go ahead here and Shadow Connection. So let's Shadow Connection and energy from here to here. And we have 1 prize card left, right? So we're just going to go ahead and bosses, give our opponent the well played. And then we're going to attack with the Galarian Moltres V and take the dub. So very much functioning like a dark toolbox deck to clutch that dub against Single Strike URSHIFU VMAX. Okay, so our opponent's calling a coin flip here. We're hoping to go first. We won the coin flip, so we do want to go first. Let's see what we can start with. Really want to just get a Malamar V out if we get the chance. I mean, this hand's not bad. We are gonna have access to the Galarian Moltres. It looks like our opponent got a mulligan. We're gonna be able to draw at least an extra card and a card for our turn. So we hit Dragapult VMAX. This could actually be amazing for us. Yeah, we definitely want to just draw a card. And let's see what we can get here. This seems perfect. So let's go Quick Ball, discarding a Dark Energy. When it comes to other things, we probably just want to go ahead and get out a Sneasel at this point. We have Weavile in the deck just so we can worry about that when we can worry about that. So let's just go Sneasel. As much as I'd love to get a Malamar out, we probably don't need it. We could function like as a dark toolbox deck. So let's go ahead here and just go Dire Flame Wings. We're going to power up that energy. And we're just vibing here at this point. We're just going to go pass. We got 2 energies on our first turn. We're ready to go Aura Burn for 190 next turn. ×2 on their Dragapult VMAX for 380 damage. And they're going to scoop the game like that. Peace out to our opponent. We're going to take the dub. So that's what we got going on for this video today, peeps. Before any of you in the comments are like, Zach, that second game is completely a scam, I'll put you like this. If you face any type of deck that's weak to dark, that's usually how the matchup's going to go. It's very, very, very hard for darkness type weak deck. So things like Shadow Rider, Calyrex, VMAX, in order to win against a dark type deck like this. They need to basically go Gengar, Mimikyu, and hope that you have 1 Pokemon and rip you out of your start. And they can do that, and it's one of those things that it is going to happen, but that's how it's going to happen most of the time. And we could have played it another couple turns, but I would have just been in like attack, attack, attack. Like doing double damage and your opponent having no way to stop that is literally just going to be them winning the game. Like you're going to win the game every single time against your opponent. So as much as it's funny your opponent used scoop up net, that's totally how the game plays out. And in the first game you can see that you are able to beat other decks. That would have been a normal case for like a dark toolbox deck that's predominantly weak to fighting type. You might not have necessarily been able to win like that against a deck like that, because this deck is weak to grass type for the most part. So it's one of those things. What are my thoughts on Malamar VMAX? I actually really do not like this deck. I think it's worse Eternatus VMAX off the top of my head. I could be wrong. These are my early thoughts, by the way, so don't hold anything against me if it ends up becoming the next big deck or anything. But my reasoning is, it's Eternatus VMAX takes 2 energies. Etern has a much better matchup spread. In my opinion, you're still going to beat the Shadow Rider Calyrex. Sure, the only thing different about Malamar is you play a bunch of different techs, so it means your deck might not necessarily be doing the same things that you want you to be doing every single turn, and you're weak to grass. Those are really the only things that make it different than Eternatus, beyond costing extra energy, not having damage output. I think the damage output is probably going to be the biggest thing that takes it down a notch compared to Etern and other decks. You're just not dealing as much damage as other decks. We saw with the single strike URSHIFU, I was struggling to hit 200 damage. In a format where Pokemon have 340 HP in every single deck, you need to be able to knock out V's and VMAX's Pokemon. So things like Shadow Rider Calyrex do that very well. Things like even Luke Metal do that very well, because you're hitting for 220. The numbers need to add up, and for this deck, I don't necessarily think they do. One thing that I do want to change about my list is adding a Greninja and Zoroark-GX. I'm not entirely sure what I'd cut out of the deck. Probably the second Cheryl. That seems like a really good cut if you'd have to ask me. But let me know what you think in the comments below. While you're there, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I look forward to having a conversation with everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll catch up with all of y'all later. Peace. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a channel member. It's one of those things where I appreciate every single person who watches my videos, and I mean, that's really where it counts, but for the channel members, they've gone out of their way to financially support me, and I truly appreciate that gesture. It's one of those things when I started channel memberships up on my channel, and I just didn't know if anyone was ever going to do it, so I truly appreciate everyone taking the plunge, taking a leap of trust, and investing in me as a content creator. Truly makes a difference for me each and every month. If you haven't already thought about becoming a channel member, you might want to contribute to the channel, and I do put everything back into the channel to make it the best possible place to watch for Pokemon TCG content. Again, I truly appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Cheers. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.